sat down here to do this, and I'm on my meditation pillow that I used to teach classes on. And I have all these things that I want to share, but I'm like, where do I begin? And once I start, then it gets warmed up, and then I can just allow whatever wants to come through, because I have plenty to share. It's just like letting it get in the flow to where it just starts sharing itself. So anyways, I sat down and I was like, oh, I remember this. I remember when I used to pull cards. But welcome back to the first solo episode since I did my introduction. So it's really just the first solo episode. My intention is really just to share whatever wants to come through, and I have this deck. Some of you who have been with me might remember it, the deck of character. It's got all these different characters, 3 different sections called tools, places, and characters. And they're like these very simple drawings. It's intuitive. So for me, if I want to tune into what's the truth want to serve today, and it's a good place to just tune into the flow and the intuition that's coming through. And oh, hello. Okay, so if you jumped out, let's see what we got. Characters. We got the farmer. Places. Inferno. Perfect. The drunken sailor. Compass. Plateau. Explorer. Okay, so I'm just going to sit with these for a second and just take them in. So it's like it's wild times on planet Earth, and we're definitely going through these major shifts. We're going through these wild times, right? Big, huge shifts are happening and things are breaking down according to human design. Ra talked about this time and he said that at near the end of the cross of planning, which is the end of the cross of planning, the final end is 2027, right? And we enter a new cross, right, in February. And so it's just a huge 400-year cycle ending. So if you think about that in terms of how long humans are alive and generationally, it's going to be such a different frequency than anyone alive today has experienced. We're not only going into a new cross, but we'll be going into a new line. We're jumping from a first line theme in the cross of planning to a 6th-line theme in the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And what Ross said about the cross of the sleeping phoenix is that things need to burn down for the new to rise, right?
Again, the whole thing about the sleeping phoenix is you've got to die to the old life to live the new life. And that the new life is totally mutated.
And he said that we'll just see a lot of bloodshed every day at the end of this, because in 1949, which is the beginning of our mystical way, he said everything in the 19 is what humans kill for, right? God, food, and territory. And we see that, right? So it's like when you look at it from this bigger cyclical thing, it's like it's part of that process of it breaking down. It's like becoming more intense and extreme at the end, because that's just kind of how it goes, right? And what I think is so hopeful, which the 6th line is hope, what I feel is so hopeful about the new era coming is that it's not going to be about territory anymore. It's not going to be about God in terms of religion and religious institutions, right? And giving power away to like a religious institution. It's inside of us. We already have within this vehicle, this 9-centered vehicle, we are about self-reflected consciousness. God is inside, right? And it's not about warring with all of these things, but that's kind of what we're seeing. Is he said there's going to be like fanatics are going to become more fanatical. So like all of the extremes are going to become the most extreme in the end of this cycle. And then we're in for this huge change, right? And so when I see like the farmer, it's like we're like he's tilling the land, like he's planting seeds, right? It's like before something new is going to be sprouted. And we're in the Inferno part, right? Like things are burning down. It looks crazy. The literal heat is being turned up, both metaphysically, literally, I think in more ways than one. I think we're going to probably experience that through Earth, which reminds me of my chat with Brett Blackburn, the previous episode, when she talked about Mother Earth is going to have these eruptions and earthquakes. And I just think of the wars and all of these things, like the threats of things in the external. It's the Inferno, right? It's the burning of this cycle to have the phoenix rise in the next one. Drunken sailor, like he's like tipped over, puking on the ground. It's just like, it's disorienting, right? It's like a disorienting time. It's also a time to be sober and in your power, I feel. But I felt that for a long time. I haven't had any alcohol since, 2019? I started like drinking way less, 2018, 2017, 2018. And then like cold turkey stopped because my experiences, it was just my guttural. I had a guttural clear no, and my mind was like, what? And it was like, trust it, just trust it. So I did. And every time my authority, my intuition, whatever you want to call it, that knowing that we each have in different ways that can become clearer and clearer the more we attune to it. It's like when you honor that, like you are rewarded, right? It's not, I don't really think that like the universe punishes per se. I just think it's like it feels like cause and effect, right? And the liver in human design is connected to our G center. Our G center is our sense of direction, love, self, right? So it's like when we drink alcohol or we do anything that harms the liver, which is, there's lots of things that harm the liver, right? And the more we do things, we intake things into our body that our liver has to filter, the more it kind of clouds everything. It clouds our truth. It clouds our geometry, our path, our decision making, our sense of identity of who we are. Or like, some of us are fluid in our identity, or our identity, like if you have an open G, it's like your identity is formed by those around you and being in correct relationship for the people who are correct for you. But you can't really know who's correct for you if you are clouded, right? There's a power to sobriety because you're not opening yourself up to things. And I think that's true with everything. For instance, anything can be good, anything can be negative. It really, I feel, comes down to, is it correct for you and your level of discernment, right? Like if you do things that open you and you don't have discernment, it can be catastrophic, right? One of my good friends and I were talking about this, that God uses everything for good. All that is uses it, like whatever you believe God is, like it's much bigger to me than anything humans can truly understand. But like the force that moves everything, it's going in a direction. It's like, I view it as like this big river that's just going in a direction. Like you're not going to be able to really change that, right? So it's like, it's all going there. It's all being used towards this specific direction. It's more like your resistance or your surrender to that is really just going to determine your ride, right? Like, is your ride is your ride really horrible, exhausting, throw you under the water? Or like, are you just like, it's that analogy. And this was an analogy I learned when I worked in the therapy realm. You're in a river, you're holding onto a rock, and it's just, you're just getting bashed like over and over again against this rock. And you're holding on because you're terrified of letting go of the rock. Like, I am scared of what will happen. Will I go over a cliff? Whatever. And you're getting bashed, and you just eventually, out of pure exhaustion, you surrender and you let go. And then you're just floating gradually down this river, It's just like, we can surrender and flow with life. We can, And then, that's funny, I was holding this card, the compass. So it's pointing to true north. That goes back to the G center, right? Like knowing the direction. So if it is correct for you, if you are a generator and you respond to this, if you're a reflector in the right space and you wait out your lunar cycle, if you're a projector and you feel invited, if you're a manifester and you felt that urge to be sober, like just being in your power, like whatever that means for you, right? It's differentiated for all of us. But for me, it came to a point where, and same with plant medicines, like I haven't done them in a long time just because I haven't had a response to. And even smoking marijuana was like, there was just like a knowing that I would feel in my power to no longer do that. And at one point it was a medicine, and I could feel when that time closed. And then it was like up to me to choose, right? And that's not to condemn any of those things either, because like, what's correct for you. But maybe this is a little message because you've been feeling like maybe it's time. And the sense that I have and have had for a long time, even before 2020, like leading up into like 2017, 2018, 2019, there's a sense of urgency inside my being, and I didn't know why, but there was like this alarm going off going, it's the time is now, like get into your intuition. And I met human design in end of 2017 to early 2018. I didn't even know anything about 2027 for like many years, really into my studies. So it wasn't something that I had any awareness of via something I learned outside of myself. It was just being attuned to my own vehicle of like, for whatever reason, it feels supremely important to clear out things that create distortion and noise, right? And that's like an ongoing process because we live in a very noisy, distracting, distorting world, right? Because we can have contact with everybody's fear program and all the like, and we ride the emotional wave, hope to despair. And so it's the human ride, right? And we have all of this desire and expectation and seeking the new, and there's going to be a huge shifts in that. I remember when I learned about like the new beings coming and how it's kind of the end of this nine-centered form. I mean, nine-centered beings will exist probably for another couple of thousands of years, but like in general, like if it was a clock, it's like it's the end of the clock kind of thing. And a new being is going to come in, which is just going to change the game according to human design. And they're mutating, and that's where we see like in autism, I talked about this a little bit, but like with the growing of autism, that there's this genetic mutation that's happening, and mutations are imperfect. And because the mutation is happening before its time, so to speak, like pre-2027 in this nine-centered form, then it's like these beings who appear severely limited. They're like the hybrid between the rave of what's coming and the Homo sapien transitus, which is us, this nine-centered form, who has its own inner authority or authority, who can know how to drive its life, who doesn't need to make decisions based on calculating risk and like manipulating reality. It's not a guess of mind. You have an internal compass that really knows what is your truth. And 70% of the population are generators who are here to respond. But even if you're not a generator, a general rule and something I've been keeping in my awareness, do the thing that is most exciting, even if it's just a little bit more exciting to you, right? More appealing to you, right? Because like so many times we will force action from things we think we should be doing, and we don't do the thing that we actually want to be doing. And when you live like that, it's interesting because it's not like things that don't get done. They just get done in the correct order and timing. So it's do the thing that excites you the most. Do it to the best of your ability with integrity, right? Don't plow people over to do it. It reminds me too of being a mother and opening this way to work again, because I like pulled back for a couple of years having my children. We're now 2 and 4. And it's like anytime they need me, that's when it's like a signal of this can wait. My work can wait. This is the signal of saying, not right now. And the timing is always perfect, right? It's like we don't have to rush. We don't have to do more than we think. A lot of times when you go slow, you just don't waste energy, right? And the thing that we're really moving into is stop wasting energy, right? That's really the pulse.